let's do another example. 2x minus 3y is less than 12. 2x minus 3y is less than 12. All right. When we were solving linear equations, it had to be in slope-intercept form. Yes? Is this in slope-intercept form? No. No. So what we need to do is move this around to get it into slope-intercept form. So I'm going to take the 2x away from both sides. That leaves me with negative 3y. I'm going to use that inequality symbol. Is less than negative 2x plus 12. Now what would I have to do? Jay?
You have to divide everything by -3.
I need to divide everything by -3. Do you remember when we were solving inequalities, what did we have to do when we divided by a negative number? Flip the sign. So when we divide by a negative number, flip your sign. You might want to add that in your notes as a reminder. Dividing by a negative number, flip the sign. So now this is the sign that you're going to look at when we go to do our shading. So this leaves me with y. This becomes a positive 2 over 3x, and this is a negative 4. That's the hard part. Now, we pick out the slope, which is 2/3. The y-intercept is -4. So I plot my points, starting with my y-intercept at -4. I use my slope to plot more points, up 2, right 3, up 2, right 3. Now, before you draw the line, you look at your inequality symbol. Should it be solid or dashed? Dashed, because it's greater than, it doesn't have the equal along with it. So I'm going to draw a dashed line. I'm almost finished. I have one more step. I go back and look at my inequality symbol. It's greater than. So do I shade above or below? Above. And this is your answer. Your graph is your answer. Your graph shows that your solution set does not include ordered pairs on this line, but any of these ordered pairs would make this true. All right, let's move on. It says graph the inequality in a coordinate plane. Is this in slope-intercept form? Yes. So all we need to do is pick out our slope. My slope is 3 over 1. My y-intercept is 0, 1. So far, it's exactly like what we've been doing. I plot my y-intercept, 0, 1. I use my slope to plot more points. Up 3, right 1, up 3, right 1. If I want to go in the other direction, down 3, left 1. Now I look at my symbol. Do I draw a dashed or solid line? Dashed, because there's no equal bar there. So it's a dashed line. Now, do I shade above or below? Below, because it's less than. If you have trouble figuring out which is below, look at the y-axis. The numbers that are lower are going to be on the side that is below the line. So then you just follow along the line and then shade all that side of your graph. And what this indicates is that any of these points that I'm shading, and on and on and on, of course, would make this a true statement if I plugged them into that inequality. Okay, now you might run into a situation where it's not in slope-intercept form. So in this case, we have to flip this around until it's in slope-intercept form. So I'm going to take an x away from both sides. That leaves me with 2y is less than or equal to negative x plus 6. Now I'm going to divide everything by 2. I do not need to flip the symbol because I'm dividing by a positive number. I only flip the symbol when I divide by a negative number. So that leaves me with y is less than or equal to negative 1/2 x. 6 divided by 2 is a positive 3. So now I can pick out my slope, which is negative 1/2. My y-intercept is 0, 3. I use those to plot the point. Now, because my slope is negative 1/2, I'm going to go down 1, right 2, down 1, right 2. My 2 is a positive number, so that's telling me to run right. Down 1, right 2. Is this going to be a solid or dashed line?
Solid.
Solid. Do I shade above or below? Below, because it's less than. Less than is lower. Less is lower. Now, you might run into inequalities that look like this. When we graphed these before, the easiest thing to do was to draw an XY table. I would suggest you do that again. Draw an XY chart. This tells me that all of the x's are 1. Oh, I know, but hang on. We're just going to put the 1 in the x column. When you see this, it just indicates to put the x in the 1 column. As opposed to if I had y is greater than 1, then I would put the 1s in the y column.
Is that art class?
Now, once you've done that,
What hour are you?
you can put any numbers
Okay, what are you needing?
for y, because this just means x will always be 1, no matter
Okay.
what y
And
is.
do
Do
we
you
want to
remember,
work
this
on
is
your
going to be a
quiz? What do we
special
wanna
kind
work
of
on?
line. It's going to be undefined, which is vertical, correct? So once I
You
plot
have your quiz?
a few points,
Yeah.
you
Why
can
don't
see
you
that
get
it's a
that and let's
vertical
go through
line.
that.
Go ahead and draw it. Will it be dashed or will it be solid? It will be dashed. Now, in this case, you don't have an above or below because it's vertical. So your above is going to be the side that has the greater numbers on the x-axis. So in this instance, this side would be your above.
So would you write undefined?
You don't have to. This is your answer.
Okay.
The graph is your answer. You don't have to tell me that has an undefined slope. I'm not asking you what the slope is. I want the graph for the solution of that inequality.
Okay.
Does that make sense? All right. We've got time for another one. Y is less than or equal to -3. Again, for these, I would do your XY chart. And this time, I'm going to put the -3s in the Y column.
So, I know what I did wrong on it.
And I can put anything in the X.
I think I did this part. And
You
I
just
didn't know
need
if it
about
was
3
an
points
XY
for you
chart.
to see which type of line this is going to be.
Over here.
It's going to have a 0 slope. You're absolutely right.
and
So
we've
I
got a lot
plot
of
a
issues
few of my
going on
points.
that we need
1,
to talk about.
-3, 2, -3,
For number, I think
3, -3, and I see it's a
21
vertical
to
line.
31. Do we have to graph those?
I make
Like, do we
it
have to draw the
solid
graphs?
because of the equal bar,
It says graphed inequality, though I don't.
and I'm
know.
going to
you
shade
graph.
below.
Okay.
What we did today is what you do, because it's under, less than. The numbers are lower on the y-axis, if that helps you.
Okay,
So
here's
less than is below or lower, greater than is above, okay? All right, we have time to do another one. Your homework is not going to be due
Okay.
until Wednesday.
Okay.
I suggest that you get started
Hi,
on
okay.
it.
Here's
Do
since
as
this
much as you
is-
can, because on
just use this.
Tuesday, I'm going to
Alright.
give you your chapter
And then
review.
this is your word bank.
So that'll be a lot to
Okay.
do.
Give
On
me one
Wednesday, we'll
second.
grade
Give me
this
1 second.
and then review for your test, which is Thursday. So I would get started on this, so Tuesday you can come in with questions, okay? This, first we have to put into slope-intercept form, okay? So I need to move my X. That leaves me with -5y is greater than or equal to -4x plus 20. I'm dividing by a negative number, so what do I have to do? Switch the sign. And I do that right away so I don't forget to do it. That leaves me with y is less than or equal to 4 over 5x. I have a positive 20 and a negative 5, so that's going to leave me with a -4. I plot my y-intercept, which is -4. I use my slope. 4 over 5 tells me to rise 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Oops, I'm getting off my graph here. Dotted or dashed or solid line? Solid, because of the equal bar. So I draw my solid line. Do I shade above or below? Below. You will need graph paper.